Now I'm going to motorize this operation, and to do so I'm going to use this booster pack because I don't want to plug into the 12-volt power plug in the back of the van. I don't want to compromise the electrical system in the car, and the plug-in in the back of the van only works when the ignition is on. That's not going to do. I don't want to have to get out, deploy the ramps, then get back to the car, get back inside and shut the ignition off. And I'm sure as hell not going to take off and leave the keys in the ignition. No, this job here will work very well. It'll provide up to about 30 amps, almost 400 watts. And that's plenty enough to drive the drill motor. The drill motor showed at the on the ground before it used to be a 9.8 volt cordless drill. It has these advantages. It works on DC power. It will run in reverse. It has a built-in gearbox with about a 21 reduction gearbox. And it has a drill chuck. That's important. That allows you to use just about any size take-up shaft you want to reel in your wire. It's going to pull the whole thing together. For cordage, I'm going to use the polyethylene rope on the left and the 1/16 inch stainless steel wire rope on the right. The polyethylene rope is 60 pounds, test, and that's much more than the 38 pounds I measured it would take to simply pull the retractor arm into the van. I didn't want to use it throughout because, like all rope, it's going to bunch up into a big ball on the take-up rail, and I didn't want that. We're going to let the stainless steel, 1/16 inch stainless steel wire rope do that. It's very skinny, very thin. It'll wind up on the take-up reel just fine. I've added to the picture some devices we'll be using to take up the cord and the wire rope. The black caster wheel on the left, I used it because it'll be taking the load right off the actuator arm. It's mounted on ball bearings, which means it swivels, self-centering. It's on a plate with 4 holes in it, so I can anchor it very securely to the deck. I did have to cut a groove in it with that metal cutter I showed you earlier. To the right, to our right, is this just a standard pulley, a utility pulley. It'll be used for the rope as well. It's got a nice big fat wheel on it. Below these are some small, very small pulleys and wire clamps we'll be using for the stainless steel wire rope. Here's some more items we'll be using. Typical angle iron, drilled angle iron you buy at any hardware store. It's real weak. It's real handy to cut up into brackets. There's a piece of scrap 16 gauge sheet metal. It's easy to drill through because it's fairly thin, but it's thick enough and strong enough to also make some brackets out of if we need something really small. And then to the left of that is typical plumber strap. Galvanized drill steel strap. It's kind of like iron duct tape. You can do just about anything with it. And it's good for holding things down, the plywood or wood, or pretty much anything else. Well, I guess it works pretty good. There's some more linkage to be added, and we can add a few more parts and refine its movement. We'll see what the end result is a little later on. I'm going to take the wheels off this RC racer toy and put them on the sides of this ramp at the ends. Make it smoother and quieter as it hits the ground and deploys. The 9.8 volt drill motor I had failed. It's a drill I wore out and tossed in the junk box over 10 years ago. I really didn't expect it to last. It proved that the system would work. I'm now using this 18 volt cordless variable speed reversible drill, 3/8 inch. It's as you can see, I've separated the handle from the drill motor. Now that it's separated, it can be used pretty much like a game controller. since I've extended the wiring out to about 2 or 3 feet. The handle includes the variable speed trigger, it includes a reversing switch, and it includes the 18-volt power source. Just snap the battery box off, plug it in a recharger, and then plug it back in, and you're ready to go. No need for the booster unit I showed at the beginning of this section. It's self-contained. It works very well. The drill motor drive more or less just snaps into place, and anchor it with a simple plumber strap. You'll notice I have a bracket here at the far left end of the drill motor to keep it from pushing itself away from the take-up reel. Also, at the other end, I have the take-up shaft ending in just a wood block that keeps it from traveling to the right. I went to 1/8" nylon cord. As a pull medium, and there's your drive system. The steel wire bunched up very quickly, made a squirrel's nest, and was useless. The polypropylene cord worked just fine, but the outer, it's a polypropylene core and a sort of a fabric sheeting, and it started to fray pretty quickly, so I dumped that too. That's why we have this nylon cord now. It works great. I don't think you can see this, but I took a threaded rod and filed the end of it down, ground the end of it down into a triangular shape. This gives a positive grip for the 3-job drill chuck. It just cannot slip, and there's not enough torque to twist the end of the rod off, so this is a good solid drive system.